Hello everyone, my name is Neha. Welcome to my YouTube channel Wings. Take flight towards knowledge and wisdom. Today's root word is lock, L-O-Q, lock, L-O-C, and log, L-O-G-U-E. That means to speak. This root words originates words like eloquent, loquacious, colloquial, obloquy, somniloquist, soliloquy, magniloquent, grandiloquent, monologue, dialogue, circumlocution, interlocutor, ventriloquist, and elocution. Eloquent. It is an adjective. Eloquent means fluent or persuasive in speaking or writing, and it also means giving a clear and strong message. For example, what an eloquent speech she gave. That means what a fluent and persuasive speech she gave. Let's take another example. She made an eloquent appeal for action. That means she made a clear and strong appeal for action. By adding CE at the end of the word eloquent, we got another word eloquence, which is a noun. While by adding ly at the end of the word eloquent, we got eloquently, which is an adverb. For example, she was renowned for her eloquence and beauty. That means she was renowned for her fluent, persuasive speeches and beauty. He spoke eloquently. That means he spoke fluently and in a persuasive, or you can say in an effective manner. Let's come to the second word, that is loquacious, which is an adjective. Someone who is loquacious talks a lot or who have habit of talking a lot. Thus, loquacious means talkative, garrulous, verbose and wordy. So, have you guys noticed that I have used here words like garrulous, verbose and wordy? What does these words means? See, garrulous, as this word sound like girl, garrulous girl, garu girl. And as it is said, like girls used to talk a lot, they are talkative. By the way, actually it is not like this. Some girls talks a lot while some talks less. Anyways, by this thing that girls talks a lot and garrulous sounds like girl, garu girl. Thus we can always remember that garrulous means someone who talks a lot, who is talkative. And the other word was verbose. Verbose means using words more than needed. And wordy means using too many words. Let's do some examples for the word loquacious. My best friend is loquacious. That means my best friend talks a lot. Ananya may appear quiet in social surroundings, but once she gets to know you, she is really loquacious. That means she really talks a lot. By adding ly at the end of the word loquacious, we get another word, that is loquaciously, which is an adverb. Colloquial. It is an adjective which means a language used in ordinary or familiar conversation. That means language which is not used in formal or literary sense. It means everyday language, or you can say casual language which is not formal as used in offices. For example, because a job interview is such a serious event, one should not speak to the interviewer in a colloquial tone. Another example, Since I am from a different country, I have a difficult time understand the colloquial language in this country. A blockade. It is a noun which means very strong public condemnation, criticism or blame. Condemnation means strong disapproval and criticism. For example, after being released from prison, John lived in a blockade and rarely left his apartment. Means, after being released from prison, John lived with strong public condemnation and thus he rarely left his apartment. Another example. His controversial essays have brought him much obloquy. That means his controversial essays have brought him much criticism. Somniloquist. It is a noun. Somn means sleep, loque means to speak. Thus, somniloquist means one who talks in his sleep. For example, my sister is somniloquist. That means my sister talks in her sleep. By this word somniloquist, a word comes in my mind. That word is somnambulism, which is a noun. See, somn means sleep and amble means to walk. Thus, somnambulism means a situation in which a person walks around while they are sleeping. For example, my poor friend is suffering from somnambulism. Soliloquy. It is a noun that means an act of speaking one's thought aloud when by oneself or regardless of any hearers, especially by a character in a play. For example, a final soliloquy by a young child ended the performance. Magniloquent. It is an adjective. Magnus means great and loque means to speak. Thus, magniloquent means speaking or expressed in a lofty or grandiose style, using high-flown, bombastic, pompous, and boastful languages. See, I have used here words like grandiose, lofty, bombastic, pompous. What does these words mean? Lofty means high. Grandiose means grand and magnificent. High flown means grand sounding. Bombastic means high sounding. Pompous means too serious and full of importance. Boastful means showing excessive pride and self satisfaction in one's achievement, possession, or abilities. Now let's see some examples for this word magniloquent. He spoke in a magniloquent manner, drawing attention to himself. That means he spoke in a grand manner or in a grandiose style so that he can draw attention to himself. Let's take another example. My professor used his magniloquent gestures to keep the class engaged. By adding CE at the end of the word magniloquent, we get another word magniloquence, which is a noun, while by adding ly at the end of the word magniloquent, we get another word that is magniloquently, which is an adverb. Grandiloquent. It is an adjective. As the word suggests, grand plus loque. Loque means to speak. Thus, grandiloquence means to speak in a grand, pompous, or extravagant in language, style, or manner, especially in a way that is intended to impress. Extravagant here means excessively high. For example, When I heard the salesman's grandiloquent speech, I knew he was trying to make the car deal sound better than it actually was. Jack's use of grandiloquent terminology failed to impress the job interviewer. By adding ly at the end of the word grandiloquent, we form another word grandiloquently, which is an adverb. Now let's come to the next word, that is monologue. Monologue is a noun. Mono means single and log means to speak. Thus, monologue means a long speech by a single person that controls a conversation. For example, before Sia greets guests on her show, she always welcomes the audience with a humorous monologue. Listening to the actor's monologue about his deceased mother brought us all to tears. Dialogue. It is a noun. Die means to and log means to speak. Thus, dialogue means an exchange of thoughts or ideas through conversation between two or more people. For example, because Nancy does not listen well, it is hard to establish a dialogue with her. Another example. According to the psychologist, it is important for parents to establish an open minded dialogue with their kids. Circumlocution. It is a noun. Circum means round and loc means to speak. Thus, circumlocution means an indirect way of saying something, especially something unpleasant, and the use of too many words to say something, especially in order to avoid saying something clearly. For example, politicians are expert in circumlocution. That means politicians are experts in talking in an indirect way to avoid saying something clearly. Let's see another example. I would never vote for a politician who avoids answering questions through the use of circumlocution. Interlocutor. It is a noun. Inter means between and loc means to speak. Thus, an individual who is engaged in a dialogue with another person is interlocutor. For example, after Annie listened to her friend's conversation for a while, she became an interlocutor and expressed her opinion. Another example. The music at the party was so loud, my interlocutor couldn't understand a word I said during our conversation. That means the music at the party was so loud that the person who was in a dialogue with me couldn't understand a word I said during our conversation. Ventriloquist. It is a noun. Ventri means belly and loc means to speak. A person who can speak or utter sounds so that they seem to come from somewhere else, especially an entertainer who makes their voice appears to come from a dummy of a person or animal. For example, the children laughed as the ventriloquist made the doll speak without moving his lips. A skilled ventriloquist can trick the audience into behaving that the doll or animal he is controlling is actually alive. Let's come to the last word, that is elocution. It is a noun. That means the art of careful public speaking, using clear pronunciation and good breathing to control the voice. For example, before I took lessons in elocution, I was an awful speaker. Shreya will need to work on her elocution before she competes in the public speaking competition. So we have completed all the 14 words which originates from the root word lock, lock and log, which means to speak. So that's all for today's class. If you guys have any queries, please let me know in the comments below. So thank you guys. I will meet you on Tuesday now. Till then, take care.